Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It is 9 o'clock. Welcome to our regular Friday night role players training sessions. We are going to cover two roles as usual. The first one, speech evaluator, and the second one, table topics evaluator. So they are very much related. Many years ago, I participated in speech evaluation contest. It was rather exciting for me. I learned to evaluate. I love to evaluate, and I was told I was good. I won at the club level. At the area level, I came second. And one of the things they told me, what they said was the major reason I came second was I was not very comforting. I was not very friendly. I almost appeared harsh. And this was very good feedback. When you're evaluating a speech, there are two things I always recommend that you think about. One, when you evaluate a speech and you're done, you want to be done and the speaker is excited to speak again. That's the first thing. Second thing, when you're done, the speaker should want to speak again, but be better. Two things. One, when you are done, you have concluded your evaluation, the speaker still wants to speak again. And two, they want to speak again, but they are going to be better the next time they speak. Why am I saying this? I said this because it means you need to be aware of who the speaker is, their personality. Is the speaker someone that can take constructive feedback? Does the speaker need a lot of encouragement before they're able to take any area of recommendation? Or do they only want you to let them know from the start, where can I improve? Where can I improve? Where can I improve? It means you need to know who the speaker is. And I'm going to break down your responsibility as the speech evaluator into three parts, knowing what I just shared before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting. And this last two can be combined. Before the meeting, if you don't know who the speaker is, get their contacts, speak to them, find out who they are. Something that is pertinent, the pronunciation of their names if you don't know how to pronounce their names. You can ask for a voice note, but beyond that, just familiarize yourself with who the person is. Bare minimum, know if the person is a man or a woman. I've been to meetings where the evaluator comes up to tell us the objectives and it seems so passionate and eager, and they're talking about this woman, she, and the speaker ends up being a man. It does not build any type of confidence in the evaluation you are going to dispense after they speak. It just seems like you were lying to us. Please don't do that. Take that little step of figuring out who they are, maybe even asking beyond the evaluation slip, is there anything else that they want you to pay attention to? That being said, get your hands on the evaluation slip. Every speech here at Toastmasters, it has objectives explicitly stated on the evaluation slip. Ask the speaker, please, can you forward the evaluation slip? And if they don't know where to find it, good. You can either guide them or just let them know your VPE can assist you, your mentor can assist you. That also helps the speaker know where to go on Basecamp to get access to their evaluation slip. Once you receive it, please go through what you are required to pay attention to. Some speeches require a lot more detail. There are unique speeches like the one where you're interrupted, as an example. There's a speech where people need to jump in at certain points and actually interfere with the speaker's delivery. And the speaker is learning how to handle those speeches. As the speech evaluator, if you're not aware of this in advance, you may be confused. You will not know how to properly assess that speech. Do the extra work of going through the evaluation slip before the speaker delivers their speech. When you're familiar with it, then it's easier to properly give your assessment to ensure that the speaker improves. The primary objective is written there. That is the major thing you focus on before you look at other areas where speaking is concerned. This you do before the meeting. What else should you do before the meeting? Find out the structure of the meeting. Prepared speeches, are they happening before table topics? When you come in? Because you need to know that you're going to come in and give the objectives before the speaker delivers their speech. And if you're the first evaluator, please be ready, especially in the virtual space. Because we're in the virtual space, people might be there, they're eating, they're drinking, they're distracted by other things. When it's time for you to come and speak, you don't want those distractions. By looking at the agenda, you know, okay, I have a piece of time, I can handle this and then come back, or I need to be here and focused. Study the agenda in advance. Every single time, the time allotted for speech evaluators to give their evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes. As a starting base point, I always recommend start with 2 commendations, 2 recommendations, and 2 commendations to conclude. At Toastmasters, the way we evaluate is commend or commendations, recommend or recommendations, and finally commend or commendations to end. That is the structure, CRC. Please use that structure when you're giving your evaluation. And I tell evaluators, think of it as a speech. You are evaluating the speaker, but you're also speaking to an audience. As a consequence, when you're delivering your evaluation, remember that you're carrying everyone along, not just the speaker, the audience as well. You can have a brief intro before you dive into your report, and then a brief conclusion. Intro, conclusion, it can be a quote, it can be referencing something that was said. It's up to you, the way you're going to deliver that report. Completely up to you. But you are carrying the audience along and you're carrying the speaker along. Please remember that. When the speech is about to commence, do not wait for the speaker to start speaking. You would have given the objectives, you hand control back to the Toastmaster of the day who introduces the speaker. At that point, you are paying attention to the speaker. Why is this important? The speech delivery starts before one word is uttered. It means, let's assume we're in the virtual space. If I'm going to give a speech, my evaluator has already given the objectives of the speech, handed over control to the Toastmaster of the day. And the Toastmaster of the day is going to introduce me. My camera is on and I'm busy doing something like this. It doesn't instill any form of confidence. As a speech evaluator, you're paying attention to this, noting what I'm doing. By the time my camera is on, I need to know that people are already paying attention to me. I should comport myself, relax, look as though I'm ready, smile from the point where my camera is on. If I don't want anyone to see me, I simply turn off my camera, wait till the Toastmaster of the day introduces me, and then I can turn it on and dive into the speech. But once my camera is on, I should have the presence of mind to understand people are already creating perceptions of my speech based on what they are saying right now. I should carry myself in such a manner that I start creating the perception I desire for them to have about speech before I utter one word. Speech evaluator, please pay attention to this. And then everything that goes into a proper speech. The introduction, the vocal variety, the body language, the content, the structure, the conclusion, the passion, all those things, evaluate them. Evaluate them, but it starts before I say one. And if it's the physical room, same thing. What is the person doing before they reach the lectern? You're going to give feedback on this. A lot of things depend on perception, including how people receive the speech you deliver. Perception starts before you utter one word. Speech evaluator, please pay attention to this. When the speaker is done, you fill your notebook, wherever you're taking down notes. At this point, you can also fill the evaluation slip. You fill it and you can even return it if it's virtual to the speaker, or if you're in the same room, you can give them the physical copy if you choose to do so, even before you come up to give your evaluation. The virtual stage or in the physical stage, that's fine. And if you don't want to do it then after the meeting, you can fill the evaluation slip and return it back to the speaker. It's your choice. Regardless of what you choose to do, by the time we get to the evaluation portion of the meeting, the general evaluator is going to call you up to evaluate the speaker that you are evaluating their speech for that particular day. You come up and you deliver your speech. Let's give the speaker a round of applause. How many of you enjoyed the speech? Show of hands. Great. Let's applaud them. However you want to start. Then you go into your CRC, being the feedback for that speaker. Note, you know who the speaker is or have some idea. If they don't take much constructive feedback well, put more commendations, reduce the recommendations, and end with more commendations. If there are people that can handle it, then you can reduce the commendations at the beginning, increase the recommendations, and reduce the commendation. Whatever you choose to do, please let it be within the allotted time for speech evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes. Don't say, I have so much feedback, I notice so much. No. 2 to 3 minutes. Anything you cannot say from the stage, after the meeting, one-on-one, let them know. I observed you did this, I observed you did this, this will really help. Go to this resource, go to this resource. And as a speech evaluator, if you think they need to redo the speech, please say so. I attended a meeting Thursday evening, and the focus was strictly on body language. By the time I was done, I told the speaker that I recommend they redo that speech. Why? Because they didn't meet the primary objective. Most of the body language they were displaying when they spoke was this. Most of it, the entire time. There were a few snippets of proper body language to buttress what they were saying. Most of the time, it was just something like this. I recommended, please do it again. And gratefully, she accepted, at least she nodded and gave an applause or thumbs up, which to me means she accepted. It's part of your responsibility as the speech evaluator to let them know if you think they should redo that project. Every project has an objective to help the speaker improve. If they don't achieve it, they are going to be losing out on a lot. In summary, that's what you do as the speech evaluator. Does anyone have a question? If you have a question, you can raise your hand and ask your question, or you can send a message to the chat box if you're not in a position where you can speak, and we'll try and attend to the question. Or if you have a comment that can improve our understanding of speech evaluation, please feel free to share your comment/observation. Is there any question or comment? I don't see any hands. And at the moment, I don't see any messages in the chat box. My assumption is we don't have any questions or comments at the moment. If questions arise as we proceed, because we're almost done, please feel free to send your questions to the chat, or if it's just a comment, as I said, that will benefit those of us in the room, feel free to send your comments to the chat box as well. We're going to the second role for tonight, the role of table topics evaluator. For me, table topics is the most exciting part of every Toastmasters meeting. I love it. I love the fact that you can't predict what's going to happen. And I love the fact that it tends to be quite humorous if it properly handled by the table topics master. As the table topics evaluator, what are you responsible for? First, let me say this. Not many of us are aware, but the table topics evaluator, you are not really responsible for evaluating the table topics master. What I am sharing with you now is based on Toastmasters International Standard. Maybe your club may tweak things. Table topics evaluator is not given much time to evaluate all the speakers, and usually you have a number of speakers. Table topics, we want as many people engaged as feasible. That includes members and guests. But the time allotted for table topics evaluation is not often too much. Now, in the past, I used to think it was too little, and I blamed it on the Vice President Education or Toastmaster of the day, whoever is responsible for planning the agenda. But actually, Toastmasters International Standard, first, the table topics evaluator should not evaluate the table topics master. And if they are not evaluating the table topics master, who is responsible for that? The general evaluator is the one to evaluate the table topics master. And I know for many of us, that's going to be very surprising. Once again, depending on your club, if you have enough time, by all means, go ahead. What else happens? For each speaker that have come up to deliver a table topic speech, you are not going to treat it like a proper prepared speech. A proper prepared speech, like I shared earlier, the evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. For table topics, the evaluation for each speech is actually less than 1 minute. In fact, 30 seconds to 45 seconds. And I know that's going to be very surprising to most likely all, or at least most of us in this room. You are not meant to spend much time on each individual speaker. What do you do? Some of you may be asking, how on earth can you evaluate anything in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, less than 1 minute? The recommendation is you do a 1-1-1 system. One commendation, one area of recommendation where you can improve, and one commendation to conclude. Fast, straight to the point. I loved your ability to tell stories. I observed that you told a lot of stories. I would have preferred that you focused on one. Your conclusion was really powerful, especially the call to action. Done. And I know that that's going to be very challenging for many of us. We are going to fight it out because we've had months and years of having proper speech evaluations for table topics, but this is the standard for Toastmasters International. Table topics evaluation short, really short. Now, like a proper prepared speech, I do still think you can do brief introduction, brief conclusion with your commendation, recommendation, and commendation. Still understanding that you're giving feedback to the speaker as well as to the audience. For table topics, there's something quite unique. Prepared speeches, the only people that can give prepared speeches are Toastmasters. They have paid, they are here to improve. If they are here to improve their speaking, by all means, if they're at a stage where they can take feedback on areas to improve, you can accumulate that. You can mount more of that as long as time permits. For our guests, a number of them will be in a position where they are petrified by the idea of coming to speak in front of strangers. If you know, either based on your interaction with this guest, maybe you showed up early and you interacted with them, or based on how they deliver the speech, if feasible, the recommendation you give should be something trivial. if you do have an area of recommendation. If they're that scared, chances are you do. It shouldn't be something that will make them feel uncomfortable. Just think about it. Somebody that can't handle this type of feedback, will this make it worse for them to speak? Will they still be encouraged to speak? Remember, by the time you're done giving an evaluation, you want two things to happen. The person should desire to speak again. The person should desire to speak again, but be better the next time they speak. You want that type of encouraging evaluation, that that person that was so scared to speak actually feels, okay, wow, I didn't realize I had the ability to speak at that level. I'm willing to try it again. And you can go the extra mile to speak to them afterwards, because if they are so scared, they don't have the experience, they'll need a lot more encouragement after your evaluation. You can go back and highlight more areas that they did really well. Share your story with them. Whether you are a speech evaluator or table topics evaluator, when you're speaking to people one-on-one, especially if they feel you're really good based on your evaluation, share your story with them. If you have similar stories, if you're somebody that when you used to speak, your knees will commune with one another, then you'll be shaking. I've heard of people fainting when they come up to speak. I don't think I've seen that, but apparently it happens. If you have a similar story, share those stories with them afterwards so they know that they can improve. And this was one of the avenues that helped you. Surely it can help them as well. But please, for table topics evaluation, you don't have that much time. And I know this has happened before where people get up there and you start telling your story from the stage. That is not the place. Please focus on your report, focus on your speech, story afterwards, one-on-one. And then I highly recommend that you ensure each speaker is applauded. You can do it before you give the evaluation and after. Before and after, before and after, before and after. You want to celebrate the speakers. Emphasis being on those that clearly are uncomfortable speaking. Those that it took us 2 minutes of giving them constant applause before they stood up and came to speak. As a table topics evaluator, the way you handle the evaluation can go a long way in helping that person bolster their speaking confidence. And that's why we're here in our Toastmasters Club, to create that conducive environment where people can grow as leaders and speakers, and your evaluation can add to achieving that. In summary, that's what you get to do as a table topics evaluator. I know it was a shock to a number of us. I don't expect too much to change very quickly. Change is usually slow, but don't be like me attacking the Vice President Education or the Toastmaster of the day, whoever prepares the agenda. Know that your time for evaluating table topics is actually really, really short, especially from the experience some of us have had, where we're coming from. We're going to have to start changing our mindset and our actual experience when evaluating. Does anyone have questions or comments regarding table topics evaluation or speech evaluation? You can raise your hands or send a message in the chat and we'll attend to them. I don't see any hands and I don't see any messages in the chat box. I think this is the fastest we've ever ended. Usually we end 9:30, but it's 9:24 at the moment. I would like to encourage each and every one of us, please play these roles. For speech evaluation for new members, there's a project that touches on this. Once you reach that project, then you can keep evaluating speeches. For the rest of us, once you've gone beyond the point where you can evaluate speeches, please keep doing so. as well as table topics evaluation. Now, the challenge for some of us is, excuse me, how can I pay attention to the speakers, quickly take notes, and pay attention to the next speaker? Practice. If you think you are bad at something, you need a lot of practice. Don't give room for those that you think they are better than you, meaning they keep getting better, you keep getting worse. Once you believe you are bad at something, put yourself out there to practice as much as possible. And if you cannot find areas to recommend so the speaker improves, that's perfectly okay. That means your job for that day is just to highlight what you think is their areas of strength, which is good. Many of us do not believe we are good at many things. You reminding the speakers that they are good is a plus. Toastmaster Lazarus, please go ahead.
Good evening, Toastmaster John. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
My question is this. As a new Toastmaster who is just starting evaluation, what will you recommend for tips in terms of this Toastmaster evaluating experienced Toastmasters? That's one.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
That's one. Two, you just said that the only way to get better is to practice, and that if you do not have any recommendation to make, just commend the speech, and that is perfectly okay. But my concern with that is this. If you just commend the speech without recommending areas of improvement, are we not doing a disservice to the speaker who is also trying to improve on his speaking and public speaking skills? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lazarus. You asked 2 questions. Let me reiterate those questions just to confirm that I have the right questions. First, you were asking, for an inexperienced Toastmaster, how can you evaluate more experienced speakers? Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And the second one, you said that if you only give commendations, are you not doing a disservice to the speaker that wants to improve? Is that accurate?
It is.
Thank you. The first question, how can an inexperienced speaker evaluate more experienced speakers? First, if you're a new member to Toastmasters, you shouldn't evaluate until you've gotten to the evaluation speech project. Then you understand better how to evaluate. And if you've attended this type of trainings, you understand better. You can only evaluate more experienced speakers up to your own level of competence. What does that mean? We are not all coming into Toastmasters at the same level. We're all trying to improve, but we're not all at the same level, which means some of the newer members might actually have the skill set to evaluate more experienced speakers. Some of the newer members, in fact, newer and older, they may not have the skill set to evaluate more experienced speakers. They may just feel so good. Wow, wow. For Toastmasters, we learn by doing. This is hands-on environment to learn and grow. That's the fastest way to grow by any standards. Experienced speakers are aware that some people evaluating their speeches would not know how to properly evaluate it. If these are the only people you can get for whatever reason, that is okay. It's perfectly fine. However, if you can get more experienced people for these experienced speakers, that's fine as well. I've been invited to club to evaluate speeches. Why? Because the speaker is a very experienced speaker, and most members of the club, they are new. They don't know how to evaluate. And that speaker, multiple times when they've been evaluated, they didn't really get much to improve, and they wanted to improve. The VPE/president had to search for more experienced people. If that's the situation, then there has to be a level of intentionality to go and search for evaluators that can properly give feedback. Outside of that, those of us that experience understand that some people will not be able to properly evaluate your speech. That is okay. You ask others to give you feedback. Before I proceed, I would like to say it is 9:30. Officially, we are done. Thank you all for joining. You can feel free to exit the meeting if you have other things to attend to. None of us will be offended because our session for today is done. Nonetheless, those that want to stay back to listen to responses and listen to what we have to say for other people, like someone has already asked for the role of timer, which we'll touch on, or you have other roles you want to answer, please feel free to do so. Thank you all for joining. Now I continue to answer Toastmaster Lazarus' question. And then the second one, Toastmaster Lazarus, that you asked is, if you just commend, are you not doing a disservice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, for whatever reason, we keep harping on the fact that we only learn from mistakes, we learn from those parts that don't work out very well. Not true. We also learn from the parts that are good. We learn from the parts that work out very well. You just have to be intentional about it. As human beings, many of us, we elevate other people's skill sets and reduce our own competence. That includes us as Toastmasters. Somebody may be an exceptional storyteller. Because they don't hear it much, or maybe they've heard it, but they just ignore it because they think friends, family. When they hear from someone evaluating them, they didn't know this person before today, they've not known them for long, but that person stresses the fact that you are a good storyteller. They may begin to believe the feedback they just got from you, and that is good. When people begin to believe that I am good in a certain area, it gives them opportunities to try things they won't have tried before. Maybe they've been running away from a contest, from a particular job position. We don't know. Getting them to believe their strength is not a disservice. You are helping them grow as a speaker. Now, if they've gotten to a level where they know, that's different. It's still not a disservice. As human beings, we are quick to forget. It's one of the gifts we have. We forget very quickly. I can write a book, read it in a couple of months, and I'm shocked. Did I really write this? Because we forget quickly. It does not hurt to remind them of their areas of strength. If that is the best you can do now, remember, you need to do the best you can do with your ability right now while doing your best to improve your ability, your capacity. If that's the best you can do, fantastic. It's not a disservice, Toastmaster Lazarus. And remember what I said earlier. If the speaker wants more experienced speakers, intentionally they should search for those people and they can ask for more people to evaluate. Evaluation is not limited to the person that comes up to the stage. Does that help, Toastmaster Lazarus?
It does. Thank you very much.
You're very much welcome. Toastmaster Kudus, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Toastmaster John. I just wanted to comment on Toastmaster Lazarus' question. When he asked that the question, I had two things in mind. I think you mentioned one. The second one I had in mind was that is that when you come out to evaluate people, that evaluation is not just for the speaker alone. It is also for the audience. The audience will also want to learn from it. Apart from the fact that you want to talk about what the speaker did well, so that the speaker can take note of it, that yes, I actually did this well, and I should continue. Another thing is that other people listening may not even know that what this speaker did is actually the right thing, or they may not really pay attention to it. But when you emphasize it, mention why it's actually good. So in the case where you don't have any recommendation, I just recommend that you actually emphasize why what you are commending is good, so that everybody can see, oh, this is why this is actually good, and this is why we should infuse this in our speeches. I think your evaluation will actually be very valuable, not just the speaker, but to everyone that is listening. I just want to put that out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kudus, for that. Absolutely. Really, really appreciate it. Toastmaster Equal SN, the lady that I got the privilege of listening to her speech last Saturday. You have asked that we please share about the role of timer. You're playing that role tomorrow. Toastmaster SN. I still don't know how you should be addressed. Is it Toastmaster Equal or Toastmaster SN? What do you prefer, please? I don't know which is the first or last name.
Anyone is fine. Good evening,
Oh.
Toastmasters.
Good evening. Have you looked at how to play the role of timer before this session?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I would recommend that you please do so, but we will go ahead and discuss on that. We didn't discuss the role of timer today. We only discussed 2 roles every day. Today, we did the role of speech evaluator and table topics evaluator. If we discuss any roles for that day and you come late, I apologize in advance. I am not going to go over it. But since we didn't touch the role of timer, I am more than eager to go over the role of timer. Your meeting tomorrow is a virtual one. So Toastmaster Equal, please, can you raise your hand using the reaction button right now? Actually use the reaction button, Toastmaster Equal, and raise your hand. Thank you. When you are playing the role of timer in the virtual space, I recommend that you start with this, raising your hand. Why do I recommend that you raise your hand? It automatically pins your screen for everyone in the meeting. Do not depend on the Zoom master or whoever else is going to control it. Raising your hand pins it for you. Everyone that is going to play the role of timer in the virtual space, learn to do this. This is a huge asset for everyone in the meeting. And I'll break the role of timer into 2 parts, before the meeting, during the meeting. Now, Toastmaster SN, I'm really confused on what's going on. Toastmaster SN, are you going to use your laptop or your phone?
My laptop.
Laptop, fantastic. Okay. Have you downloaded the cards by any chance?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So that's one thing you need to do. Please try and download it, because you are going to be sharing or just changing your background. And let me show you how to do that now. When you want to share the green, you can see my background has changed to green, yellow, red. And how you get here is simply, depending on the laptop you're using, you see your video, you click on that up arrow button. For me, it says adjust background and effects. You need to try it on your laptop, wherever you are now. You click it. There are a number of options there. I now go to my virtual backgrounds. I've downloaded a number of them here. And the green, yellow, and red cards are part of these. You can now choose. So I'll recommend that you download, maybe as we're even talking, you can try going online, Toastmasters International. You can just search online the green timing cards from Toastmasters International. Click save image, or however you save it on your own laptop. Get that. Yellow timing cards, Toastmasters International. Red timing cards. Download and save it right there. Now, to save, when you go to adjust background and effects, you will see a plus button somewhere. I don't know where it is for your laptop. You click the plus button and it should have options. The options that come up will be your desktop, downloads, wherever it is. And you simply go to that image where you've saved it and double click that. We'll save it in your Zoom virtual background. Please try it out so we confirm that you have it. While that is going on, let's go through what you actually do. Before the meeting, please get a copy of the agenda. If you don't have it, it's unfortunate, but the reason you need it as the timer, which is an exceptionally important role. If you do your job very well, you increase the chances of your club actually keeping within the allotted time. Get the agenda and see the timing for every role player and every speaker in advance. For each role player, you need to know when you're going to display green, yellow, or the red card. If you see 2 minutes, then you should know at 1 minute, green card, at 1 minute, 30 seconds, yellow, at 2 minutes, the red card. That goes for table topics and any role player that they give 2 minutes. For speeches that are 5 to 7 minutes, at 5 minutes, you display the green. At 6, you display the yellow. And finally, at 7, you display the red. And the speakers know that they have 30 seconds. You as the timer, you are noting the time everybody speaks. If the agenda shows that you only have icebreakers, that is 4 to 6 minutes. 4 minutes, you show the green. 5 minutes, you show the yellow. And finally, 6 minutes, you show the red. It's important that you know which speeches are going to be delivered. If you have only icebreakers, please don't come up and explain to us that if your speech is 5 to 7 minutes, there is no speech for that meeting that is 5 to 7 minutes. It's just a waste of time. Focus on the timing for that particular meeting by studying the agenda. What else would you do before the meeting? If you have any issues, talk to the VPE. I don't see any time for this speaker, how much time they have. And then you can write it down, or they adjust the agenda, send it to you. And you need to know, when should I show green, yellow, red. When you are playing the role of timer, a number of people wait till they are introduced by the general evaluator. I highly recommend that you start from the beginning of the meeting to do your job. Don't wait till you're introduced by the general evaluator. Why do I recommend this? Because if you wait till you're introduced by the general evaluator, everyone that has spoken before you, and there are at least 4 people to speak before you, Sergeant at Arms, President, Toastmaster JGE, at least, because the general evaluator may introduce other team members before you. Every one of those speakers have the opportunity to speak well beyond their allotted time. You need to reduce the chance of that happening by displaying your cards from the beginning of the meeting. Please be aware of this. All these things you're thinking about before the meeting. What else do you do before the meeting? Prepare a brief speech explaining your role as the timer. You would have heard, I'm assuming the meetings you've attended, but at least I know last meeting, you heard how the timer introduced their role. I stepped in for the timer because the timer showed up late, and I explained the importance of timing, and I showed you the cards. Brief introduction, it can be a quote, anything you want as the introduction. Explain by displaying the cards, how the green is going to come up, the yellow is going to come up, which for you in this space is either your background changes or you share your screen. You decide. But whatever you're going to do, please let everyone see. Don't just tell them, I will change my background. No, change it. And let them be comfortable with how you've changed it. What else are you going to do? Before the meeting, you just need to find out specifically if there's any unique speech and confirm how the timing should be done. There are some speeches that go for as long as 22 minutes. When should you display your cards? Other timings are different. If there's no unique speech, then you're good to go. Now, in the actual meeting, as I stated, please start from the beginning. 1, show up early. 2, start from the beginning, timing, displaying your cards, green, yellow for every speaker, green, yellow, red. When it's time for you to speak, if you think you might spend too long, get someone else to please play that role while you're speaking. If you think you're okay, then you can, by all means, go and explain your role, display the cards, even though you've already started sharing your cards, so people have observed you doing your work. Once you're done, go back, sit down, and continue doing your job. At different meetings, we vote. Vote for what? First, the best prepared speech speaker. Second, the best table topic speaker. Before we vote, because one of the criterion we look at is timing. You as the timer, you will always give your reports. What do I mean? We are done with prepared speeches. The Toastmaster of the day says we are going to vote for the best speaker for today. Ideally, the Toastmaster of the day will ask you as the timer, please, timer, can you give us your report? Did anyone not keep to time? And you're either going to say everybody kept to time, done. Or one speaker didn't keep to time, Toastmaster John was supposed to speak for 5 to 7 minutes. He spoke for 8 minutes, 30 seconds. And then Toastmaster, they will explain, we are not going to vote for Toastmaster John because he did not keep within his allotted time. After table topics, the exact same thing is going to happen. Toastmaster of the day is going to ask, timer, please, can you give me your reports? Did everyone keep to time? You do the same thing. Yes or no, and you state exactly who did not keep to time. If the Toastmaster of the day forgets, Toastmaster SN, prompt them before the voting. We're going to vote for the best prepared speech speaker. Zoom Master, please, can you put up the poll? Just let them know, Mr. or Madam Toastmaster of the day, I would love to give my timing reports. Oh, thank you so much, I forgot. And you give your reports. Did they all keep to time, or are there some people that will be disqualified? Very important during the meeting. For prepared speeches, if we are voting, and for table topics, if we are voting. If we are not, there's no need to give your report. Meeting just continues until the evaluation portion of the meeting. General evaluator will now call up their team members, including yourself, when you come up to deliver your reports. Once again, I recommend in a speech format, brief introduction, your actual reports, giving times for anything that you've not given reports on, and then a brief conclusion, and you're done. However, please, when you go and sit down, I still recommend that you continue timing. You're not going to write down the times, but you're going to show the cards. Why? After you speak, you still have a number of speakers coming. You may have saved all of us time because you were so diligent in doing your job and everyone kept to time. Once you stop, everyone else speaking can still shatter all the good work that we've done. They can decimate it, smash it to the wall because they don't see the green, yellow, or red cards. Please do us the courtesy of still timing all speakers that show up after you during the evaluation segment, after the evaluation segment, meaning Toastmaster of the day, and finally, the president. When the meeting has concluded, officially your job as the timer is done, Toastmaster SN. In all these things that I have said, were you able to have a better understanding of how to play the role of timer, Toastmaster SN?
Yes, thank you.
You
Though
are
it's a
very
lot
much
to take in.
Yes.
I'll
Unfortunately,
just practice tomorrow morning before.
please. Were you able to download the cards?
No, I'm not close to my laptop right now, but
Okay, that's fine. If you're not able to download the cards, let me know. I'll just send them to you via WhatsApp. Do you have my number?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm
Have your
dropping it
number.
in the chat right now.
Okay.
I've dropped my number in the chat. If you are not able to download the cards, send me a message. I'll send them to you. And then you can now
I'll do that.
test it in advance, please. Don't wait for that point to test it out. If you have time earlier in the day, test it out. If you want to test it out with me, feel free to do so. Just let me know in advance, and then we can carve out time, come and display the cards, and familiarize yourself with what we just said. Who is the general evaluator tomorrow? Do you know, Toastmaster Essien? Do you know who your general evaluator is?
I'm not sure yet. I've not gotten the agenda.
Okay. Now, the general evaluator is the person leading your team. If the meeting is close and you still don't feel very confident, which makes sense. I mean, you're just finding out all this information now. It's a lot to take in the day before you play the role. Please speak to the general evaluator to assist you, to remind you, to prompt you in case you omit anything. There are different things that can happen. You may be so engrossed in the speech that you lose track of time. It happens. So whatever you need to do to ensure that you're still paying attention, good. You may forget to give the report for the part we're going to vote on. Just remind the general evaluator. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be at the meeting tomorrow. I have another event. I would have been there to assist you as well. just to prompt you in the virtual space, but the general evaluator leads your team. Just give them feedback in advance. Would you be able to do that?
Of course, yes.
Well done. And
Thank you.
I celebrate you for playing that role. It's a very, very important role. Very,
Thank
very,
you.
well, very much welcome. There's a question from Toastmaster Agba. Thank you so kindly for today's session. For my next project, I'm to give a 3 to 4 minute social speech, a toast. Please, how is this kind of speech timed? Thank you so much for that question, Toastmaster Agba. For 3 to 4 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's 3:34, unless you want to do 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure, but I do believe there can be an agreement between you and the timer. If it's going to help you to say you want to see the green at 2, then you can discuss with the timer. Please, can you show me green card 2 minutes, yellow card 3 minutes, red card 4 minutes? But if you feel 3 green, 3:30 yellow, 4 red, by all means. But Toastmaster Kudus, I think, is going to give us the accurate thing based on Toastmasters International Standard. Toastmaster Kudus, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to say, if the speech is 3 to 4 minutes, that means 3 minutes is the minimum allotted time. So I think it will be counterintuitive if the timer shows the card at 2 minutes, because the speaker will think, yeah, I've spoken up to the minimum allotted time, and then I can move on, unless if there's now another arrangement that you feel until I see the yellow card that I want to see that I've spoken up to the minimum allotted time. But I feel it's best to always show the green card at the minimum allotted time, since that is specified already.
Thank you so much for that, Toastmaster Kudus. Toastmaster Agba, as you've heard, if you want an arrangement with the timer based on your own personality, your preparation, that they show 2, 3, 4, by all means. But just for the sake of knowing when you've reached your minimum, the green card will probably come up at 3 minutes, yellow card, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, red card, 4 minutes. For example, the 22-minute speech, I believe it's 18 to 22 minutes. So the green should come up at 18, the yellow 20, and finally the red at 22 minutes. But you can have an arrangement with the timer. I hope that helps, Toastmaster Agba. I don't know if anyone else has a question on any roles they're interested in us going over, or if they still want to ask a question on this, or even the ones we addressed previously, speech evaluator, as well as table topics evaluator.
Yes, thank you so much. Much understood. 3:34. Then I have 30 seconds to round up, right?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Kudus. Appreciate your contribution.
I don't see any hands up, and I don't see any messages that have dropped into the chat box. Thank you all for joining. We have these sessions every Friday. And I'll let us know when we're going to conclude for the year. I believe next Friday is our last session for this year, and we will now come back in 2026. Please go and play these roles using what you have learned. The goal is mastery. You master by repetition. Repetition as close to one another as feasible. Play the roles as often as possible till it becomes a part of you. Once you have mastered it, then move on to other things. Please let us not just learn, have head knowledge, thinking we know how to do it, but we've not actually acquired the skill. The goal is to acquire skills. We acquire them by doing. Thank you all for joining. You are very much welcome to Toastmaster Rakia. And if you are interested in roles we're covering next Friday, I'll see you all next Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Take care.